We make our reality. We create it. And if you bring the kind of energy into whatever life you're living right now that says, I need to wait for the right circumstances. I need to wait for other people to do things for me so that I can be in a position to succeed. I got news for you. It's not going to happen.
Welcome to the Ignited Recovery Podcast, a new way forward for anyone looking for answers but feeling left out. If you've been searching for empowerment, triumph, and purpose, you've found them right here. You won't hear the same solutions, and you're not going to have any excuses to fall back on, because Ignited Recovery allows heroes to rise and become their best selves. I'm Dr. Adi Jaffe, and I can't wait to be your guide on this journey. Are you ready to become an ignited hero?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignited Recovery Secrets. I'm Adi Jaffe, and I'm here with you today. I'm a little sick, and there's some more stuff going on, so I'm going to keep today short, but I hope it will help some of you. And, you know, you've heard me a lot on this podcast and the episode that Sophie and I do on Wednesdays, kind of talking about how our personal lives affect the way we look at the world and the way we process things. And today is going to be one of those episodes. And, you know, this isn't going to be an easy one for some people to hear, but it's okay. You know, my goal, I always say when I started Ignited, was to help people, not to be liked. And sometimes when you decide that that's what you want to do, there's some real truths to face off. So like I mentioned, I'm a little sick, so excuse my voice, but I'm in court for a trial right now that has been going on. Well, the court case has been going on for years. I think about 5 years. And it's a disgruntled ex-employee, and there's some issues related to a whole slew of different things about this person's employment. But one of the aspects of the lawsuit always made me crack up. And I just want to talk about it here because I remember, and I have some clients who are struggling with similar things, but I remember being the same way years, like 20, 25 years ago. And when I saw this part of the lawsuit, it really made me laugh, even though the whole thing is very upsetting. It made me laugh, this part. And so this part of the lawsuit, I'm paraphrasing, had to do with the fact that employees at our old company I used to run, rehab, weren't provided with comfortable enough chairs, had to use some of their own equipment like their phones and their laptops, and things of that nature. And it was the comfortable chairs and some of those other little pieces that really, really struck me as interesting. And the reason is, I remember being the kind of person who would always look for what other people didn't give me so that I could be successful. I would always look for the pieces that other people needed to provide so that I would have what I need to get where I want. There's so many examples. I mean, I was fully supported by my parents all the way until I came out to LA. And when I came out to LA to go to school at UCLA in 1996, it was really expensive. It was an out-of-state school. My parents were in New York. And so they said to me, you got to go get a job. We'll pay for the school and the housing, but you've got to get some money because this thing is expensive. My parents were not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. And so I went out to work, but I had jobs since I was 15. The thing was that the moment that happened, I started finding all these reasons why life is hard out here because I had to start kind of standing up for myself and doing what I needed to do. Now, sadly, I found a shortcut, and my shortcut at the time was selling drugs, because selling drugs gave me the ability to still live like I didn't have a care in the world and make enough money to more than survive. So I found a shortcut. And again, along the way, over and over and over, I would say, well, this person screwed me over, or that guy still owes me money. If those people acted right, or the people working for me did what they were supposed to do, I would be more successful. I would always look outside of myself for reasons why I wasn't succeeding. If you ever watched the free workshop that I do pretty much every Friday, not going to be doing it today because I'm in court, but every other Friday, you can look it up online. I talk about a moment with my dad that changed that equation for me. And I deal with people all the time who haven't had a job in 3 years, and they're just saying, well, I just need to find a job that's located in the right place. Or it needs to pay not 15 an hour, but 18 an hour. Or I need to have this title, not that title. Or if only my parents would back off me and allow me to have fill in your blank. And the reason that lawsuit was funny to me is the guy who's suing me is older than I am. And the idea that somewhere along the lines, he felt like it was okay to put down in a legally binding lawsuit that our chairs weren't comfortable enough showed me that there's still a little bit of that in him. And I get it. It's okay. But here's the truth. Nobody owes any of us shit. Nothing. Nobody in the world owes you anything. Can they help you and can they provide for you and can they support you? 100%, but nobody owes you anything. And the more you live believing that somebody does, the more you hold yourself back, because the less you acknowledge the inner strength and the power that you have. Now, let's be clear. There are employment regulations and things like that, right? Child labor was a huge thing decades ago, especially a century ago. Not an issue anymore. There are rules and regulations about what employees can and cannot do. But let's all get a little serious about this also, right? We make our reality. We create it. And if you bring the kind of energy into whatever life you're living right now that says, I need to wait for the right circumstances. I need to wait for other people to do things for me so that I can be in a position to succeed. I got news for you. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's actually worse because it's going to be like winning the lottery. And as you know, more people go bankrupt after winning the lottery than people who go bankrupt without having that luck. Because if you're relying on luck or other people's circumstances to determine where you go in life, you got a long way to go. So here's my tip. We're always about radical transparency here, right? Look around in your life. Maybe your relationship, and you're saying, if only my wife started talking to me this way, or if only my wife started wearing this, or if only my wife said this to me every morning before I left to work. Like, I love you, honey. You're the best person in the world. Kill them. Come back today. I love you. Can't wait to see you again. If only my wife did that, then we'd had a good relationship. Or if only we had more sex, then we had a good relationship. Or about your work. If only my boss recognized me for the fact that I increased revenues. Or if only my office mates and my colleagues wanted to spend more time with me outside of work. Whatever it is that's going on for you, where you feel like, oh, fuck. I've been waiting on somebody else to do something to make my life better. I think if we can all take a little more agency, take a little bit more responsibility, and be more accountable for our actions and what we do instead of waiting for what other people need to do for us, we're going to end up living in a much better place. All right, everybody. Hey, I hope that was useful. I'm going to jump off here. Save my voice for the rest of the day here today. But do me a favor. If this did resonate, if you just figured out at least something in the world that you're going to start taking accountability for instead of waiting for somebody else to do it, I would love a note, and I will do the same. I will share some of mine. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ignited Heroes Recovery Podcast. I really hope you found the information here useful and that we'll see you back here next week. And look, I want to make sure that this podcast is the most useful it can be for you, so please let me know by emailing info@ignited.com if there are any specific topics or questions you'd like to have addressed. As usual, if you like this episode, I would love for you to leave us a 5-star review and rating. Thanks, and see you next week.